Welcome back everyone to another episode of my flipping series where I have kind of stupidly attempted to earn myself the most expensive gear in the game for every offer slot. I started with only a single gold piece and we've been slowly flipping items back and forth to a point where we have well over a 2 bill cash stack. The problem is we still need about, 7 or 8 bill to afford the most expensive gear in each offer slot. Stuff like 3rd Age Druidic, the Elysian, the 3rd Age Pickaxe. I mean, there's expensive stuff out there. Okay, so in the last episode, we finished it off by selling off my 3rd Age Druidic Cloak for I think about a 40 or 50 mil profit. And I decided to do that because I kind of just needed a win. Even though we need that item eventually, for now I think I'm just going to take the money and we'll have more money to work with as well. Okay, so here's kind of where we stand right now. We have a bunch of items that are selling. 2 of these are investments, that being the Magic Seed and the Torsal Seed. We bought these 2 items right after the Tombs of Amascut came out, and both of them have crashed so much. They're at all-time lows, but so far they have not recovered. I'm hoping that as TOA has been out for a few months now, it'll become less popular and the amount of Magic Seeds and Torsal Seeds will finally slow down. We'll have to see on that though. Everything else here is simply a shorter term hold. Near to the end of the last episode, I bought 23 Swift Blades. Now these are used in the Theater of Blood, and I'm hoping that once people cycle back there, they're going to go pick up some Swift Blades for that. Same deal with the Scythe as well. So we've actually waited here for quite a while. It's been almost a full 10 days. Good news and bad news, as always, of course. The Swift Blades were actually able to sell for a nice profit of 17 mils, which was pretty nice. We made about 4 mil on the crossbows by selling those off. The unfortunate part is the Dragon Enter Lance we bought for 44.3 mil. They, crashed a lot. They just continue to trend downwards, I guess due to the Fang, but either way, we lost about 36 mil on the Dragon Enter, which is a bit unfortunate. Now for the last year, I have been mainly making my money via investing, but this month, I kind of want to move a little bit away from that. I think we're still going to do a few investments, but so I'm kind of looking to do some more, weekly swing kind of trades, or even some good old-fashioned flipping, day to day. You can kind of already see that in my offer selection. So on top of having some longer term ideas, I've also been trying out some equipment items that have very high buy-in limits, such as the Obsidian Plate Body, which you can buy 70 at a time. And we're actually getting about 100k profit per plate body. So we can slowly buy these over the course of a night, sell them back the next day for about a 6 mil profit, which is pretty nice. I'm also slowly buying some bowstrings as well. They seem dirt cheap right now, 77 coins each. Hopefully we can sell them back for maybe double that price in a month or 2. We really have a bit of everything here, and on top of that, we also bought 10 Wards of Validness. My logic here is that I think they're a bit undervalued because they're better than a piece of Ancestral even without the upgrade. So I think people are sleeping on this item a little bit, so I bought 10 of them for 13 mil. A bit of a risk, but I think the potential upside is quite large if people kind of discover that, hey, this is much cheaper than buying an Ancestral Robe Top and actually provides a higher magic damage bonus. That's the idea anyway. So here's a great example of kind of a weekly flip I've been working on. We have a lot of stuff here, but look at that. 40 Din's Bulwarks, which took a day or something to buy. But lucky for me, actually, looks like they just peaked here for some reason. One sold for 9.8 mil, so maybe we lucked out. Just dump that in here for now to see if we can make any cheeky sales. But on top of that, we've also been buying and selling Obsidian Armor. We have 300 Obsidian Plate Legs, which took a few days to buy. We've just been slowly buying them, and we bought over 100 Obsidian Plate Bodies as well. Same idea. So the idea is the margin isn't individually that great, but we bought them slowly over a couple days, and we bought them for 730, and now we're selling them back for 770, which looks to be about a 10 mil profit just on one offer slot for the plate legs. So these items we're kind of, I guess, invested in, so we're going to deposit these in the bank right now. It looks like we have roughly around 574 mil worth of investments, but we're not going to go more than that. Well, we have a lot selling off right now, and we're going to consult our profit tracker probably to explain all this, but the main thing that actually made us some money here is the Din's Bulwark, which although unfortunately we weren't able to sell many of them for 9.6 or 7 mil, we did get some of them sold, and the majority are going to probably go for about a 400k profit, which is still quite nice. We're also selling a lot of mid-tier items here, such as the obsidian plate legs, we're flipping boots of brimstone. All in all though, it looks like we're up to about a 34 mil profit just from the last couple of items here, most of it coming from the Den's Bulwark, and actually about 10 mil in profit from the obsidian plate bodies, which is pretty good considering it's just kind of a random 800k item. So there we go, after a couple of days we finally sold off all of the bulwarks and nearly the rest of everything else as well. This week we made 15.3 mil on bulwarks, 8.8 mil on nearly 300 obsidian plate legs, 10 mil on the plate bodies, and a bit of money on a few other things as well, but nothing too noteworthy. So it's actually almost a full week later. I've been experimenting with a few different flipping techniques, different items. I've been investing in items so long that I've honestly don't have much experience just straight up flipping things ever since the GE tax got implemented. So we're kind of learning a lot this month. So the first half of the month I flipped a lot of items like the obsidian plate body, just mid-tier items that had decent margins that I could buy in large bulk. That has been working pretty well, but it is pretty time consuming and the rewards are pretty low at best. I mean, it's low risk, low reward. Now, as of a couple days ago, I actually started buying and selling the new Tombs of Amascut items. I've held off on doing this for a long time, mainly because the items are so volatile, but they've plateaued a little bit now. So we're gonna try to take advantage of a few flips while the prices are relatively stable. We're not holding these items for any period of time. First up here, we have actually Zerate Van Braces, which we just flipped for about an 8 mil profit. Pretty good for only 3 of them. Each Missouri body, we're making about a 2 mil profit on, just straight up flipping it, which is very nice. The tax obviously eats up a fair bit of that, over half, but still 2 mil profit is pretty nice. And we also happen to get pretty lucky here because we had 2 more buying and I left it overnight, which is not smart, but I think it's going to pay off this time because the bodies have actually gone up by about 15 mil each. So we're looking to make actually about 30 mil on 2 Missouri bodies, which is pretty amazing. Okay, so our Missouri bodies are sold. We sold them for 507 mil pretty much combined. And we bought them for 481 mil. So a nice 26 mil profit on 2 of those. That is very nice. Now at this point, I've been kind of trying to transition into actively flipping expensive items. So we're looking at scythes, we're looking at Missouri pieces, maybe a twisted bow, or even the Tumican Shadow if it got cheap enough. These items are traded reasonably often and have margins sometimes from 1 to 3 mil, which means if I can get good enough at it, we can make 20 to 40 mil in a day, which is really, really good. And it might be the key to a more consistent way to grow our cash stack than simply doing investments 24/7. Well, after a couple weeks of practicing, I think it's about time I sell off my investments, and unfortunately, once again, not really going to be a profitable endeavor, at least for the investment. So here are all the items that we currently have. One actual profitable flip here is the Missouri Chaps, which we actually sold for a 11 mil profit, which I guess will kind of help offset some of our losses. For example, these Zerate Van Braces, we were just flipping those, but unfortunately we couldn't sell them, and after a couple days they dropped in value. We lost probably about 10 mil on the Zerate Van Braces, which isn't the end of the world. Now the big loss here comes from the Elidness Ward. If you recall, I bought them for 13 mil each with the idea that they were a slept on item, and I still kind of think that, but at this point I'm just kind of tired of holding these not profitable investments. So we're going to sell off the wards for a 5 mil loss each, or a 50 mil loss in total, which stings a bit, but I think it's finally time for something new and a bit more consistent. Okay, so it took about 6 days, but we finally sold off our investments. Don't worry about the Fang flip, just another poor idea again. So here's my original investment here. We had some bowstrings, which granted we did make a bit of money on. 25 mil we made on the bowstrings, which is helpful again for offsetting some stuff. But unfortunately, the Torsal Seed, the Magic Seed, and pretty much all the other items that crashed from TOA, at least for the regular resource items, those have not recovered yet, and I still think they might eventually, but I'm just not sure how long I want to wait here for, so I'm selling them off now. we're taking a 30 mil loss on the magic seed and a 66 mil loss on the torso. So all in all, about a 100 mil loss on all this stuff here, which really is unfortunate. But finally, after a few months, we have all our stuff sold, we have all our cash, and I think we're now finally ready to move on to something that's not pure investment strategy. So right now we have 2.4 bill. Now, because I kind of want to start with a nice clean number, we're going to withdraw 419 mil, which will leave us with exactly a 2 bill cash stack in the bank. And we're going to dump this into something so safe, it literally cannot lose us money. Famous last words, but this one I'm pretty sure is the case. We're going to actually go buy some blood essence because they are literally at alch value right now. They can't go down anymore because people will start alching them. And hey, even if they go up 3,000 or 4,000 GP, I think that will still make us a nice profit. And really, I just want something to get this money out of our hair so we can have a nice clean starting amount. So right now they're going for about 60,300, so we're not going to be able to lose much more money than a couple hundred GP each, which is fine by me. Okay, so my strategy moving forward as of today is we're going to be doing day flipping. Every day I'm going to put a little more effort into actually actively playing this account, not simply just leaving offers in overnight, leaving offers in for a week. We're going to be flipping items like the Scythe, the Twist-a-Bow, the Elysian, the new Torva armor, expensive items where we can get a 1 to even 3 mil margin per flip. We're going to try to nail like 20 or 30 of those a day and track our progress with how much money per day we can actually earn this way. I mean, it should be definitely possible to get 20, 30, 40, even 50 mil in a good day, which if you track that over the month, could be like 500 mil to a bill earned in a single month, which is definitely more than what we're doing now with investing. It's just going to require more work. So today I've been experimenting with a few different items. I tried a few smaller, cheaper items, but really so far the most success I've had is on the Scythe. It's actually significantly cheaper than most of the high tier items like the T-Bow or, the Tumican Shadow. Yet it still does happen to normally have a mil margin on it, which makes it a pretty desirable item. Like for example, we're buying them for 364 mil and I just sold 2 of them for 366 mil, so 4 mil in profit just flipping 2 scythes, which is really quick and easy money. I'm really happy with that. Constant 4 mil profits here. Buy 2, sell 2, buy 2, sell 2. So far we flipped 6 of them, which means we made over 10 mil profit just on the scythe in a couple hours. Now, another item I was experimenting with is the Zarite crossbow in a pretty similar price point, and once again, often you can get a 1 mil margin just flipping this item. For example, we're buying them for 306 mil and selling them for 311 mil right now, which is insanely good. That's once again pretty much a 2 mil profit per Zarite crossbow. Okay, so it's been about 24 hours since I've started actively flipping, and so far the first day has gone incredibly well. We lost some money on a few random items, but for the most part, everything was very profitable. Once again, we're getting nearly a 2 mil profit on the Zarite crossbow each one. We just bought the Torva plate legs, which I'm not quite sure the margin on yet. Again, in a similar price point, looking to get at least a 1 mil margin on it. But yeah, here we are after one day, and we have made 22.2 mil profit. The vast majority of that coming from the Scythe. We flipped 8 of them for 16 mil. And we also made about 4 mil flipping the Zarite crossbows, so that was the majority of it. A single item we flipped for 1 buy-in limit, and we've made enough money to make 600 mil in a single month. All we have to do is do that with a few more items every day, and we're going to be making so much. So our first day of active flipping worked out really nicely for us. This day is starting off on a very strong foot as well. A 3 mil profit on a single Zarite crossbow. Pretty amazing. I mean, if we did the entire buy-in limit, that would be 24 mil. It hasn't panned out for us like that yet, but I do have hope. We're trying a few other items here that we haven't tried yet. The enhanced crystal weapon seed, which is essentially a bow of Faradinin or a blade of Saldor. Looking to get about a mil in profit on it. It's definitely a slower item, but the margin is definitely there. And we have 3 of them so far. Okay, so we left an offer in overnight, which I had not planned on doing, but the good news is we made about a 4 mil profit on 4 of the crystal weapon seeds, and we also bought some Torva pieces, which it looks like we were not punished for, explicitly yet anyway. Looks like the price has actually gone up a bit overnight, so we'll still be able to make a decent profit on all of these Torva pieces, I hope. So we're going to drop them in the bottom here, and hopefully they will sell sometime in the morning, and we can get another daily total. So we definitely made less flips yesterday, but the best item so far on day 2 is actually the enhanced crystal weapon seed, which we came away with a 6 mil profit We got 3.5 mil on 2 Torva plate bodies, 3 mil on the scythe, 3 mil on a single Zarate crossbow, 2.3 mil on some rings of endurance, bringing us about a 17 mil profit just in about another 15 or 16 hours. Pretty damn good. So I've kind of carried on trying to buy and sell some of the newer items like Torva. We're flipping Bow of Ferdinand's and the prerequisite item, the Crystal Weapon Seed, which is working relatively well. Like, we bought a seed overnight for 161.6 mil and we sold it for 165.3. So that's a 4 mil profit on a single weapon seed, which is massive. An item I've definitely been curious to try flipping for a while is the Twisted Bow. One of the most expensive items in the entire game, but will very consistently have at least a 1 mil margin on it. Right now we bought them for 1264 mil, and we're looking to sell it for about 1271 mil, which should hopefully be about a 2 mil profit. Somehow we insta sold it. Looks like we just made 2.4 mil just like that. Okay, well, that went really well. We must have lucked out on that somehow. But anyway, the idea is that this should buy and sell quickly. We have the capital to work with, and all we have to do is repeat that a few times. So I've experimented with a few different things here, but so far we've had a lot of luck on the Twisted Bow and the Bowfa. So the two high tier range weapons, they've just been working out pretty nicely for us. We've been able to pretty consistently get a 1.5 mil margin on each T-bow flip, and we've done a fair number of those. Bow of Ferdinand is a bit less, but also 3 times cheaper. And really at these price points, you don't need a lot of items, you just need to have one that works well, and I think we found it. Okay, so we've finally been able to sell off all of our items here, and after looks like 3 days of active flipping, we're up to 57 mil in profit. So over the last 24 hours, our session is looking like a 21.5 mil profit. Actually, the majority of that coming from the Bow of Ferdinand, which has given us over a 1 mil profit on average per item. So 10 mil in profit on that. The Twisted Bow, we got 7.3 mil on 5 of them, so better margin but less flipped. In the Crystal Weapon Seed, we got a 6.3 mil profit on about 10 of them, alongside a few other minor things here, but nothing too substantial. But I'm incredibly happy with another 21 mil profit. So on top of the Twisted Bow, which we've been pretty successful on, I've also tried flipping the Elysian, which has worked out pretty nicely as well, getting about a 2 mil profit per Elysian flip. The one thing I have to say about all of this is patience is very important. You can't really expect your margin to not get immediately undercut, so you just have to be patient and make sure you pick reasonable prices to sell things at. And I'm only really picking items that have had a pretty stable price for the last 2 or 3 days or so. There are too many items right now that are shooting all over the place, so I'm trying to pick stable items, get our margin, flip 5 or 6 of them, and get out. Now the final item that I do want to try over the coming weeks, although I'm a bit afraid of it, is the Tumican Shadow. The potential rewards are so high because the Shadow has sometimes incredibly high margins, but the volatility is also quite high as well. Right now we're flipping them for about a 2 mil profit. I would kind of hope to get more than that, honestly, due to the risk, but gonna experiment a little bit with the Shadow today and see if we can make it work and see where we can finish our 4 or 5 day flipping marathon at. Okay, so all in all, I only actually flipped 3 of the Shadows. I had to run out and I was not leaving that in overnight or anything like that. So we ended up making about a 2 mil profit per Shadow. I'm gonna continue trying with the item if it looks stable enough. 6 mil in profit is nice for only 3 items flipped, but I was still worried the whole time when we could always just do safer items like the Scythe or the Crystal Weapon Seed or even Ranger Boots. I mean, we got 1.5 mil in profit doing a buying limit of Ranger Boots. But either way, after 5 days of active flipping, we earned ourselves 72 mil, which I'm pretty happy with considering that I'm still kind of learning how to do this with the new GE tax and, you know, just the new meta for flipping. I think going forward for this foreseeable future, I'm going to see how much money I can make with this technique. Maybe in the next video I can have a whole month's worth of progress just to show you the ups and downs of how much you can make in a month just from doing daily flips on high-end items. If we price check everything right now, we are at about 2.5 mil, and finally, now that we've stabilized, I think we'll be able to grow that. Even though the economy's in shambles, we're gonna make it work. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys in the next episode with hopefully a success story. Now, before I go here, I want to give a giant thank you to all of my members over on YouTube. Thank you to Mitch Reinders, March3258, Prophet of the Boosh, The Hybrid, and Kush Patel for subscribing at the Dragon tier. Thank you once again for all the support. Also thank you to YoYoSub89, Mexos, and NDM001 for subscribing at the Runite tier. Appreciate you all, and of course everyone else who became a member, subscribed, or just watches my video. Thanks again, and I will see you next time.